Morning. Top Gun here a little before 5 a.m. on Thursday, May 13th. This is the YouTube pre-market commentary. Okay, section 1, Wednesday review. Important day yesterday. The catalyst for the sell-off was a hotter than expected April CPI report. Okay, year over year, total inflation came in at plus 4.2% and month over month 0.8%. Core CPI, which excludes food and energy, came in plus 3.0% year over year and plus 0.9% month over month. This caught analysts by surprise because estimates were for plus 2 and plus 3%, somewhere in that vicinity, month over month. So this led to a spike, a 7 basis point spike in the 10-year Treasury to 1.695%. And a corresponding sell-off in stocks, with the S&P down 2.14%, the NASDAQ 2.67%, and the Russell 3.26%. Now, if we look at breadth, NYSE plus NASDAQ advancers to decliners were 1350 to 6298. If you include unchanged issues, only 17% of securities on the NYSE and NASDAQ advanced yesterday, or about 1 in 6. So pretty much everything got hit yesterday. Okay, let's move on to the technicals. So the S&P has been diverging from the NASDAQ and continue to move higher while the NASDAQ has broken down, as I've been pointing out. However, things have changed this week with the S&P down about 4.4% in the first 3 sessions this week. Now, no technical damage has really been done, with the S&P sitting at 4,063, which is about 13 points above its 50-day moving average at 4,050. So we're close. And last time I checked, the futures were suggesting we're going to test that today. But for now, it's hanging in above its 50-day moving average. Now, if we move to the NASDAQ, things are obviously a different story. It's down about 8% from its Monday, April 26th all-time closing high, and is sitting smack between its 50-day and 200-day moving average. 50-day is long gone. 200-day moving average is in sight. In addition, if you look at the charts in this tweet from Ian McMillan, you can see that the NASDAQ's advanced decline line is rolling over, as well as the percent of stocks above their 200-day moving average. So some real breadth problems there. Now moving on to the QQQ, I was documenting the potential false breakout for the last couple of weeks, and that seems to be a done deal at this point. As you can see in this chart where I have the false breakout line, but then you can just see how it's just completely broken down below that. It's down more than 7% from its all-time closing high of 342.01 on April 16th, and like the NASDAQ, sits squarely between its 50-day and 200-day moving averages. Tech is breaking down. Apple, the most important stock in the market with a market cap of almost 2.1 trillion. You can see in my chart and this chart from Gregory Krupinski that it closed yesterday right on its 200-day moving average. It hasn't seen its 200-day moving average since early April 2020. Okay, obviously a breakdown in the most important stock in the market is going to get a lot of investors' attention. Okay. Now, the reason the S&P has continued to churn higher while the NASDAQ has rolled over is the reopen trade, or what I sometimes call reopen value. And the two sectors that have led that move are the industrials, the ETF is the XLI, and the financials, the XLF. Now, both of those essentially had buying climaxes on Monday, where they shot higher into new all-time high territory, but gave back all of the gains during the course of the session, with the XLI closing only 10 cents above Friday's close, and the XLF actually closing 3 cents below Friday's close for the technical definition of a buying climax. But in both cases, very, very close to buying climaxes. All right, my bike is trying to kill me here by going up to level 50. See if I can finish here. Okay, so putting it all together, if you look at this chart from the equilibrium, Tech has been the leader of the bull market since 2009. And then reopened value has taken over in the last couple months to allow the S&P to continue to move higher while the NASDAQ rolls over. Now, with reopened value rolling over, the market has no legs to stand on. Tech's not working, reopened value is not working, the drivers of the market are not working. Okay, now from a macro perspective, yesterday's hotter than expected CPI report also probably takes the Fed out of play, because the Fed can't really step in now with inflation starting to get out of control, because they're going to risk even worse inflation, and they're going to risk the dollar. Stanley Druckenmiller, who I consider to be the greatest current investor around, ahead of Warren Buffett at number 2, was on CNBC on Tuesday morning talking about inflation. Talking about the dollar losing reserve currency status. And Alan Abelson in Barron's column, Barron's Up and Down Wall Street column on Saturday, was talking about Stephanie Pomboy of Macro Mavens, talking about the same thing, potentially China taking over that reserve currency status, and central banks around the world diversifying away from the dollar. It's a very, very dangerous situation for the country, and hopefully the Fed is aware of it. I imagine they must be. And so if stocks are now falling apart and the Fed's hands are tied, unless something changes, this is starting to look more and more like a significant market top. See you mañana.